Hello everyone, this is Donald the Repentless with another Too Long for Twitter. This topic is the Bible as history. I've talked about it a little bit in the last video, but I want to put some more thoughts out there towards those who I debate with on Twitter that the Bible isn't history. Now, one of the reasons why I say that is because that the archaeology doesn't back it up. In fact, these days archaeologists don't go out into the field with Bible in hand to use the Bible as a way to guide where they dig and what they dig for. This may have been a thing in the past, but it's not anymore. In fact, the only ones who might do that are those who have a vested interest in proving the Bible as history. But everything that's been found, especially in the last half century, if not longer, tends to go against the biblical accounts. I mean, when you go through the area that's now Israel or was Israel and look, for example, for the signs of the huge battles where the nation of Israel would come into a town, either exterminate the people or drive them out or whatever, and there's no signs that any battle like that took place. You look at the Exodus, for example, and all the work that's been done in Egypt doesn't show a massive amount of Hebrew slaves. In fact, all the major monuments were built by well-educated, skilled artisans who were well paid by the state. They were proud to be part of these monumental builds. It was a matter of national pride that they were part of these builds. In fact, most of those big build sites, there are evidence of towns, for example. Excuse me, right? Okay. As I was saying, we find towns of middle-class Egyptians, not Hebrews, but Egyptians who were paid by the government, who were buried according to Egyptian rituals and customs, not Hebrews. They point to a couple of stelas. These are things that many people have said in the past, have brought up in the past. Stelas that are basically a portion of a larger tablet or whatever you would say that would show a line of people in front of Pharaoh and say, see, these are the Hebrews. And no. And give no other source than that. But I bet you if you look at the larger piece, that it's not Hebrews being brought before the Pharaoh, but it's other peoples that have been conquered by the Egyptians being brought before the king or the Pharaoh. Like I said, the archaeology is against the Bible. Most scholars don't consider the Old Testament especially to be historically accurate. The only people who still consider the Bible as to be historically correct in any way are like more of your conservative evangelical types, which are usually like creationists and so forth. And in Twitter you cannot say all this detail because of the limitations of the site. And whenever you start, and the people I'm talking about on Twitter, they keep putting this same narrative out there over and over again, even when you do point out the archaeological evidence against it and other evidence that shows that the Bible is not an accurate history. And yet they insist on asserting that the Bible is an accurate history of anybody. A lot of it was written by scribes, religious leaders, civil leaders, centuries after the events happened, and either embellished or just made them up. That's what I see whenever I look at the archaeology that's being done, like in the Middle East and in Egypt and places like that. Not a book that is historically accurate that was written later. It's not accurate. It's not history. So do everybody a favor, if you're asserting this over and over again, stop it. Nobody believes you. And, you know, like I said, unless you can prove, unless you can bring up recent archaeological finds that back up what you say. And I don't think you can do that. But anyways, this is Donald Repentless signing off. Be awesome, everyone.